So, hello everybody. I'm Sarah. This is my sister Dana. And today we are going to be doing a reading on Dana. Yay. So, I'm going to be discussing how I read and interpret a Celtic cross. Now, Dana is and was my very first subject ever when I was learning to do tarot readings. So,
I'm no stranger to this.
she's had many, many readings, so I appreciate you being my guinea pig today.
Of course. Happy to do it.
So the first thing I want to mention before we even get into this is that whenever you read tarot cards, there's so much that's subjective to you as the reader, and there's so much intuition that you need to tap into just on your own. So what I'm going to show you today is what I've grown comfortable with and what I know really, really works for me. But it was a learning process. Yeah. I mean, it's a journey. And so I always trust my gut and my feelings beyond anything. But what's interesting too is even in my beginnings, there was a lot of accuracy. Behind every reading we've done. So first and foremost, let's talk about your cards. This is my preferred deck of cards. I've become very attached to this deck. And as you can see, this is a very large deck of cards. It's not easy to shuffle. It's not something you can do like you're in Vegas. Brr, brr. So there's a lot of energy in these cards. And one thing I'll mention is between, as you've done a reading on somebody, I always like to use sage to do a cleansing of the cards. So we're assuming that that's already been done. But cleansing is always a wonderful procedure before and after doing a tarot reading. Definitely. And you can do it on the cards, do it on yourself, do it on the person you're reading, whatever you connect to and you like to do. Sage, Palo Santo, that's another really nice cleansing tool. So what I'm doing personally is I'm just putting movement into these cards, putting my own personal energy into these cards, and now I'm going to pass them over to Dana, who I'll be reading, and I want her to put her energy into these cards. So I'm going to ask her to shuffle however she wants. So she's just
awkward.
She's just going for it, and these cards are big. These cards are big.
Yep, I can't shuffle like we're playing 31.
No, but that's what I like about these cards.
Yeah, you have to deliberately move them. It's not a simple shuffle like you're going to play another hand of poker. It's more like you got to be deliberate here. You got to move them with intention.
You have to move them with intention.
Yeah, because they're big. They're big and they're awkward.
Yes. So a Celtic cross spread is a very standard spread, and it's 10 cards. So this particular deck, what I like to do is have the person I'm reading hand pick from the deck each card individually. You'll often see readers take the cards and just start drawing from the top. And I have done that before, and sometimes I still do that. But what I personally connect to, I think you get just really, really great information out of having the individual hand pick the cards. So I'm going to hand these back to you. And, if you want to fan them out and have the person pick them out, that's fine. But I'm just going to have her hand pick just by moving through the deck. So then I'm going to lay them out as we go.
How many would you like?
There are 10 cards that need to be drawn. For you to see this layout, we're starting right here.
Where would you like the deck?
Oh, thank you. Just going to move these right over here. So we have these 3 cards right here, which are a main part of the reading, and then we move this direction, followed by here and up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip all these over at once, and normally I do this so it's facing me personally, and what that does as the reader, what am I doing? See, I don't even know what I'm doing. What that does to me as the reader is it allows me an opportunity for me to see these cards facing me, and I get the energy that way. But I've also seen people read, we're sitting side by side, sometimes people are opposing you. So you're doing it for them to see. Whatever you're comfortable with. That's really what it boils down to. So we're just going crazy here. And I love that Dana knows these cards. Dana has got to know these cards almost as well as me. But I like to look and I like to see what do I have in front of me. And we have major arcana and minor arcana in a deck of tarot. Whenever you get these major arcana cards, there's 21 of them. Those are pretty significant cards. So those weigh very heavily on the person and what's going on, excuse me, in the reading. So we actually have 4. Another thing that's catching my eye is that we have this little series of wands.
Yeah, I noticed that cluster
Right,
pop up
it's a
right
nice
there.
little cluster of wands. We also have pentacles, and then we have a sword. So we have a balance here, but what are we missing? Hearts. We have no hearts. So when you're doing a reading, I like to see what is present, but also take into consideration what is not, because that could also be something that it's missing for a reason.
Right. Why are the hearts missing?
So why are hearts missing? So we want to, that's something that we will be addressing in your reading. So
It sounds serious.
when it comes to the Celtic Cross, these first 2 cards, this card right here is going to be a card representing the person that we are reading. This card here is representing an obstacle. So this is something that they're facing, that they are struggling with. And this card down here is giving insight into what is going on with this whole situation. So I read this all in one section, really. But this is kind of like, this is the problem area, I guess you could say. Yeah. So this is something that is going on in the person's life that they might be having struggles with. So I like to look at these cards right here as past, present, near future. So past is usually an element that might be pertaining, something that has recently happened that might be a part of this issue at hand. So this is also something for the person to maybe focus on in terms of kind of getting over the situation. And then this is also something what you can do in the future too, to kind of help guide you, right? So then we come down here. So this is another card that I like to look at this card as very similar to this card, which is a representation of you, right? So this is something that you're embodying, something that you're experiencing. But that card, again, that's there for a reason, because it's there to just kind of say, oh, okay, what's going on here? This card is representing what's going on around you. So your environment, your close friends and family, what you are surrounding yourself with currently. And then we have here a card that we would call hopes, expectations, just maybe something you're desiring. And then this card here is going to be the ultimate outcome. So both of these cards are going to be representing something in the future that the individual will have to address. So just to give you a very brief interpretation of what Dana has drawn. So here we have the 9 of Wands. Wands is fire. It's that passion. It's that creativity. So this card crossed with a 4 of Wands. So something is going on in your life in which you have this idea of you're doing something new, that you might be feeling really in touch with yourself, but you're feeling conflicted because this is something that, so the 4 of Wands is indicating this idea of you working with someone. So perhaps there's going to be some kind of struggle in which you're really desiring someone close to you to really be a part of this with you, but perhaps they're not necessarily wanting to connect with you on that.
Interesting.
And then we're coming down here to the Fool. And the Fool, ladies and gentlemen, is the very first card of the entire deck. It is the 0 card. So it's the very first card of the
entire tarot.
Well,
entire
the
deck.
major arcana, the entire deck,
Yeah.
and the major arcana. So what that is telling me, that this is a new beginning, right? So there's something that you have started that you're feeling very inspirational about, and it's this new beginning, and perhaps somebody in your life isn't supporting you. So moving on over here, we have the Six of Pentacles. Pentacles is representing this earth energy, but Pentacles is your livelihood. It's how you make money, right?
Yep.
And you're no stranger to that. You often get a lot
I get
of the
Pentacles
Pentacle
a lot.
energy. Just it has to do with work life, and your basically your finances. And forgive me, but I have to take a look at this card. So, and side note, the energy that you receive from these cards is a lot of visual stimulation. If you look at these cards one at a time, there is so much you could possibly look at. So when I'm reading for someone, I want to see that energy, right? Like I want to feel that energy so I can deliver that information.
Yep.
So this card is about your financial security, right? So perhaps this idea behind your financial security has allowed you to feel free enough in your own mind and body to go, I want to try something new creatively that's going to allow me to just do something so I don't have to, and I don't have to worry about money when I'm doing this.
Right.
Right? Because that's part of her past, right? And here we're coming here to the Justice card. So what's interesting about the Justice card is, so this card has to do with ultimately legal matters, but not so the other thing, that the other energy that I'm getting from this card is there's something going on in your life that's requiring you to be diligent on like paperwork, possibly getting things in a timely manner, just that like detail element of life that
Some
has to
kind
do
of
with
administrative
tasks.
It's, you know what? I
That's-
think my car registrations do that. Might be what that is.
That's exactly what that is, because nobody likes to deal with that.
No, it's the DMV.
And,
damn it.
and so this card, I mean, ultimately, it can be that's the energy I'm receiving from that.
Yeah.
But this is about you dotting your I's and crossing your T's
Yep.
when it comes to that side of your life.
Making sure the
Making
administrative
sure it's
stuff
done.
is sorted.
Making sure that's done so you can focus on things that inspire you
Yeah.
creatively. So here we have the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands, again, it's that wand energy. It's that creative, that passion energy. So here we have an ace, which is the beginning of something. Here we have the Fool, which is the beginning of something. So if I'm reading this whole part, this is a lot about a lot of newness
Some new
to
beginnings,
you.
yeah.
New things you're trying, new things that are inspirational. This is about your near future. So let me ask you this. Does that make sense to you? Is there anything that you have just decided you're kind of starting
Yeah.
to change or to
honestly,
embark upon in your life?
I've been thinking, and I think it ties in with what you said over here about how I'm finally in a position in life where I'm not just struggling to pay rent and struggling to pay the car payment.
Absolutely.
I'm finally a little more secure, and I've been wanting to branch out with some more creative projects lately. And so I keep thinking like, oh, I can, like, of course I'm going to still do my job, my work job, but now I maybe have a little more flexibility to start trying to do more creative things because I have a little more freedom in my life to do that. And that might be from the financial standpoint. So yeah, that actually does make
That makes
sense.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
So then moving to this card. So that's the Three of Pentacles. So we come back to the Pentacle. So that's the work life. That's that.
Yep.
What are we doing? What are we doing to make money? What are we doing to make money? There's a comfort with you financially. This card is about kind of that continual working with someone. You and
So it's
collaborating, working together, and just knowing that you've got that wheel churning and everything's going great, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, that is what's bringing you to this ability to start new things in your life. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity for you in that.
Yeah. Well, and the truth is I've also probably for the first time in my life, and I'm coming up on my 7-year anniversary with my job, my day job, and it really is the first time I've worked in a job that I haven't been looking for the door. So that, I feel like maybe that's where that energy is coming from.
And also it's that idea of, you know what you're doing. You've been there
Yeah.
long enough. You know what you're doing.
Yeah,
so
I'm comfortable.
you're not stressed out over, did I do this wrong? You're like, I
Right.
got this.
I
So
know
guess
what I'm doing.
what? I'm going to start something new.
Yeah.
And I think that's really absolutely a beautiful thing.
I do too.
Moving here to the Hermit. I know you get that a lot.
I've gotten this card a lot.
So this is about what surrounds you. So the Hermit card is definitely, it's this card about coming into yourself and maybe retreating into yourself, going inward. And not necessarily, I mean, the idea of the Hermit is like, don't talk to me, anybody.
Right. It's bad.
But the Hermit is more just about kind of digging deep and saying, I want to learn a little bit more about myself in this area, or it's this like self exploration, if you will.
Yeah.
Going deeper, but also, even if that requires you to kind of take that space for yourself, there's always that idea behind the Hermit, which is somebody who has learned from their past, possibly even past mistakes, and they're there to provide guidance for others who may have gone through similar things, right? So it's coming to that point where you feel that you have the ability now to possibly educate or guide someone or hold someone's hand through a situation because you've experienced and have the knowledge behind it. So there's a wisdom in that card too. That card is also a major arcana card. So this brings us to our third major arcana card. So this is a
Yeah.
significant card, right? So that is very heavily weighted in this reading too. So that's
exciting.
Yeah, it's
like it's validating me.
it could. So now we come to the Prince of Swords. And this card in this position is giving me this masculine energy, the energy of the prince, which is this kind of prince energy is the energy of somebody who is kind of coming in and wanting to learn and to experience, right? So it's kind of the opposite of a king.
Yeah.
Right? Because the king energy is, I am here,
I've made
and
it.
I am, right? Whereas the prince is this like kind of taking in this information.
Also trying to prove himself, maybe.
Yes. So that sword energy is that intellectual energy. So it's that the idea of stimulating your mind. So
I feel like that kind of goes with the creative bit.
and exactly. So in this position too, this is about hopes.
Yes.
So this idea behind wanting to be stimulated in ways beyond the work world, which you were so like, and obviously we have to be positioned in that where we're working, we're going to work, but then you fall into the, I'm so tired, so I'm just going to do something mindless. It's this idea of wanting to stimulate your mind.
Yeah.
And I know you enjoy things like reading and learning new things.
Yep.
So
that's what that is.
that also correlates to
Yep.
where you get your passion is through your stimulation through the mind.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that about you, so I know that's true. Right?
Right. The cards didn't need to say that.
No, but that's definitely something that you're, that you need in your life, right? So that's also something not to ever let go to the wayside.
Yeah.
That's a very important part of who you are, and that's a very important part of this idea behind never stop learning.
Yeah.
Just keep going, keep learning and discovering new things because that's what makes you feel very fulfilled.
Yes.
As a person.
I love learning things and reading things. So.
So our last card is another major arcana, and it is the World. So
I feel like this is quite an ending.
it is quite an ending. And what is also extremely poignant to me, and these are just little things you need to take note of in readings. This card right here, the Fool, is the very first card in the major arcana. This card is the very last card in the major arcana.
That's never happened to me in a reading.
So what this is telling me is that this journey that you're going to embark on is going to make you feel complete. So
That's exciting.
this is a really beautiful outcome for you.
I love
right?
this.
So there's a lot of positivity behind this reading too. I mean, everything about this is just
Yeah.
You know, it's just about you continuing to stimulate yourself, know the things you have to do in your life, and know that you're
Work.
going to
Where was
work.
that one?
Yeah, work.
Work.
Work and work. And know that ultimately you're going to be really
I'm gonna be
fulfilled and very content
My life is not going to be all about work.
and very happy.
I love that.
So, I explained each card and the position and what it means, but sometimes you have to just read it as a story, right? And that's really how
sometimes how
the
a lot of
readings
times
go.
how you operate.
Yes.
You definitely, sometimes you'll be like, it's not about the individual cards here, and you'll just tell me kind
Right.
of the full story, and we won't even look at specific cards. Some cards we
Yeah.
won't even talk
Yeah,
about.
and then you'll be like, what about this card? And I'm like, it
doesn't matter.
So let's talk about why we're missing hearts.
Why are we missing hearts?
Feelings, emotions.
Finally, for the first time in my life, I'm truly living in the moment. I'm not chasing anything, and I feel like that maybe that's just the culmination of that, plus the fact that in my relationship, I feel so secure and so happy that it's not dramatic. It's not
Right.
There's nothing. It's because it's just so good, and we're
So you're
stable. We're
fulfilled?
comfortable. I'm fulfilled.
You're happy.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe that's why it didn't show up, because it's really a no drama situation right
Which
now.
is wonderful.
Yes.
And
It's
also,
great.
you know, the other, I know we've had readings before, because you used to be very pentacle heavy, which is
Yes.
finance, work, la 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 la,
Yep.
the daily grind. And then I remember doing a reading and saying, there are no pentacles in here.
I remember that.
You are feeling extremely secure right now in your finances, and you're like, absolutely.
Yep.
And so that's another reason
That-
why something could be lacking,
Yeah.
right? So
And I feel like
it's-
that's probably what's going on here.
I like that.
Because it's not.
Well, this reading ultimately is extremely positive.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Yep.
wonderful things going on here. You're exploring new things, and you know, and also the Hermit card in and of itself, it's about that inward going in, and there's a lot of feeling that goes on in that card, right? So, and that's kind of where that heart is. It's that like love, that expression, that you know, just the ability to express love, friendship, and all that, and perhaps it's just a part of who you are now. You're embodying it comfortably.
Yeah.
Too. The last message that I want to deliver and or reiterate is, first of all, practice. There's so much significance to each card that is drawn, and that it's often a story, and that it's just part of the, you know, it's always a learning process. Every time I read cards, it's like you get new information from it, and it's fun, and it's, you know, and it's also quite deep. But trust your intuition. If you're feeling something because of something, feel it, and know that that's why, you know, that information is coming to you for a reason, because you are doing this to deliver a message to whoever it is you're reading. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please give us a like and subscribe, because there will be more to come. Just like this. Oh, I dropped one. Action. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Maybe we shouldn't be drinking this.